tonight, you can only leave your home.
This is a situation that the country has simply never faced.
To halt the growth of this virus.
Welcome to the 2020 WhatHouse Awards, the Oscars of the house building industry. Where the hell are you? And why so quiet? Seriously, I hope many of you are tuning in via computers, laptops and phones, be you in offices or at home. I can't see you, but it is great to see you, and thank you so much for all your support. The 40th year of house building's greatest accolades may be very different, but the show goes on. And even if this place today will be very empty, we have of course maintained our 5-star luxury standards, holding this virtual event not at our usual home of the Grosvenor House Hotel in London, and we miss you guys, but at South Lodge Hotel and Spa near Horsham in West Sussex. And we are very grateful to the exclusive collection for allowing us to film here. Goodness, how in this of all years we would have loved to have gathered together to applaud peers and colleagues, check in with old friends, break bread with new ones, and enjoy the company and camaraderie of this great industry. Last year at the awards, as I'm sure many of you will remember, we had Major Tim Peake entrancing 1,700 of us with his vast view of the world from the International Space Station. If the astronaut were up there now, he'd be looking down over an invisible pandemic, from the heights of human endeavour to the harsh reminders of human frailty. Despite putting together submissions from the cream of their schemes and delivering and selling homes in the teeth of the virus, the awards entries once again landed in great numbers and of great quality. The best house builders in the UK, backed by the best suppliers, will be garlanded today, and I will be joined shortly by our host for the day, Romesh Ranganathan, who I think is just arriving now. So we look forward to seeing Romesh very soon to host the awards. While very different, we are confident the awards, such a highlight of the calendar, will be a reminder of just what the house building industry is capable of, with all the years' hard work and achievement given added poignancy by all that has happened. A reminder that after the event, the judges' report listing all the winners and the reasons why will be available online on showhouse.co.uk and whathouse.com, and obviously there'll be full coverage of the awards in Showhouse magazine and on whathouse.com afterwards. So now on to the 2020 WhatHouse Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me. WhatHouse Digital. WhatHouse.com is the leading new homes digital marketplace and audience platform from the best known brand in house building media. Showhouse magazine, the leading trade magazine for brand new homes. Showhouse is where the house building community meets, complemented by its website showhouse.co.uk. Rocker, the world's leading bathroom manufacturer, setting the standards in design, service and sustainability. BT, an iconic communications name, keeping the nation connected with the latest and fastest broadband solutions. Moneypenny. Moneypenny is the UK's leading provider of outsourced communications, working with house builders, housing associations and estate agents. Nolte Kitchens, one of the world's top kitchen manufacturers, always high quality and on trend. Q Assure Build, the Q policy, leading provider of structural warranty services to house builders, hugely committed to improving standards of construction. Robinson Manufacturing Limited, specialists and industry leaders in high quality timber engineered roof trusses, floor joists and timber frames. Green Lighting, leading the new homes lighting and alarm market as both designer and manufacturer of the latest technology. Nichols & Clark, leading manufacturer and supplier of wet rooms, tiles and showers. Laufen, Swiss precision from this market-leading bathroom manufacturer and design innovator. Haier Europe, parent company of the Haier, Hoover and Candy brands and a global leader in smart home appliances. Halo, working with house builder partners in delivering its Home Reach solution for shared ownership and affordable housing. Connells Group, the leading land and new homes agents, offering a one-stop shop for house building clients. Hamro, an innovator of part exchange in the retirement home sector, working with house building's biggest names. Tidy Work Studio, delivering the highest quality CGIs, virtual tours, interactive apps, film and photograph solutions for house builders, and the filmmakers of the 2020 WhatHouse Awards. So a huge thank you to all the WhatHouse Awards sponsors, all best in class in their new homes fields. The industry is lucky to have them, as are we. And now a big thank you to all the 2020 awards judges. John Assail, Assail Architects. Rory Bergin, HTA Design. Bridget Cordy, Show House. Chris Dyson Architects. Jake Edgley, Edgley Design. Simon Graham, Blue Sky Housing Consultancy. Stanley Haynes, Haynes Phillips Architects. Soraya Khan, Thice and Khan Architects. Oz Lancaster, Oz Designs. Isla McFarlane, showhouse.co.uk. George Oldham, Architect. Jill Oliver, Journalist. Keith Osborne, whathouse.com. Michael Fair, Opus Architecture and Design. George Sell, Show House. Jane Slade, Retire Move. David Smith, DS Property Marketing. Martin Taylor Interior Design. Trisha Topping, Carlisle Consultants. Carolyn Trevor Laheath Architects. Pascal Wenzink, EPR Architects. And Matt White, Matt Architecture. Thank you very much, the 2020 judges. I'm delighted to welcome Stuart Baisley, Executive Chairman of the Home Builders Federation, the HBF, known, I'm sure, to many of you watching and listening in. So, welcome, Stuart.
Hi, Rupert. Great to be here.
No, very, very good to see you. What an absolutely extraordinary year. Incredibly challenging, and obviously, sadly for many, desperately traumatic and indeed tragic. In business terms, in house building industry terms, I mean, you are highly experienced with a chest full of medals and war stories to share in dealing with maybe the more traditional market peaks and troughs, booms and busts, the politics of housing, the delicate negotiations with government. You've highlighted industry issues around planning, supply, any number of other challenges. But this was something else entirely. Talk us through maybe your sort of first response to the announcement of that initial lockdown in March, the realization of what was about to happen and the ramifications.
Yeah, well, I first really started to work it out, I think, a week before the 23rd of March announcement. I think Boris addressed the nation on the previous Monday night and asked us all to do what we could to stay apart, socially distance, work from home, etc. And it was at that point that I decided to close HBF's London office and reinvent how HBF was going to work and set us up to work effectively from home. But I don't think any of us will ever forget where we were at, was it 8:30 on that Monday night on the 23rd of March when he addressed the nation. I never experienced anything like that in my lifetime. Even my 94-year-old father said it kind of reminded him of wartime addresses, and that's a bit how it felt. You know, it was a very serious moment, and clearly we all had to respond accordingly. And it was a confusing week for home builders, because on the one hand, government were very keen for construction to stay open as one of the areas of economic activity they were keen to see carry on. On the other hand, much of what we do is equivalent really to retailers. You know, we're not construction companies working under contract for main people. We're builders of homes that end up being sold to ordinary folk, wherever they might be. And at the end of the day, if people are not allowed out and people can't visit our show homes and we're not allowed to open our show homes because our sales centres were considered retail and valuers weren't allowed to go out and do their business and removal firms weren't and so on, then the supply side of the industry really became a major issue. And I think a lot of builders were also genuinely very concerned about the welfare of their people. I certainly was. You know, my decision to close the HBF office was largely based on making sure our people were safe, or as safe as we could make them. And I know, talking to the chief executives in those early days on that Monday night after the Prime Minister's address, a lot of people were agonizing over quite how to react in terms of making sure they kept their people safe, whether they be staff, directly employed, indirectly employed, suppliers, or customers. And so, you know, despite the fact the government were actually quite keen, I think, to see construction carry on during that week of the 23rd of March, by the end of the week, most home building sites across the country had effectively closed down. And we had to do that in a safe way. So it was a extraordinary week. I mean, I never thought in all my life I would ever have to deal with anything quite like that. But you know, as is always the case in this industry, one of the things that I'm sure you've seen, because we're both veterans in that sense of this industry, I've been around now for 40 odd years, and you know, the ingenuity, the flexibility, the agility, if you will, of the industry is quite extraordinary. And so people immediately started to turn their attention to, when we could get back to work, what would we have to do? And that led to a very intense period of work through April, designing the protocols, working out, you know, house builders working out how they would do every single task on a house building site in a COVID compliant way to make sure they were complying with the rules that were being issued by the government or Public Health England or the Health and Safety Executive. And we took a lead also with all sorts of other industry bodies and the government on looking at the wider aspects of the housing market, and in particular focusing on sales and valuers and surveyors and estate agents and removal firms and all the pieces of the jigsaw, if you will, that enable customers around the country to be able to move into their homes once they were built. And you know, the good news was that by the beginning of May we had convinced government that we could do that, and we signed a joint charter. I signed it with Robert Jenrick, the Secretary of State, and we were the first major industry to be effectively opened back up on the 13th of May. And the even better news is that, you know, over the last 6 months or so, it's all worked incredibly well. We've demonstrated that we can do it, and consequently we've gone into this second lockdown period without dramas that we had on the first lockdown period, and we've been able to keep going from the get-go, which has obviously made a big difference this time around.
Because I think, Stuart, obviously the real heroes were obviously NHS, health workers, an amazing response. And obviously we only know the business we're in, but I was, like you say, I mean, I was actually very humbled by the industry response in a wider sense, as you say. You know, first of all, very much looking after their own staff, because they would have been frightened, not just of job security, but obviously for health reasons. But also, house builders are placemakers, aren't they? They're based in the communities in which they work, and actually that wider sense of helping, whether it's their local hospital, whether the industry rallied around incredibly, didn't they, with the PPE equipment, for example, and getting that was a fantastic industry response, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. And look, you were very much at the forefront of that, as were we, with the various appeals that we put out for help, PPE equipment or other kinds of help. And you know, a lot of that's been documented and is very public, the equipment that was donated and so on. But there's an awful lot happened that hasn't been documented in quite the same way. The extraordinary response in retirement homes and the statistics that you know tell the story of how COVID was controlled in retirement homes, the people who volunteered to deliver food parcels and other things to people who were vulnerable and forced to shield full-time at home, you know, who got involved in their local communities in all sorts of ways. It was really just, as you say, humbling to actually witness the extraordinary response around the country to helping both the frontline workers, but also a lot of people whose lives have been turned upside down by the whole COVID pandemic.
And I think actually one of those people I remember talking to him at the time, and with typical modesty, he didn't want to say, but he said to me that he'd personally helped out, was the now sadly late Tony Pidgley, founder of Berkeley. Very much the word legend is used loosely, but in our industry, an absolute legend who sadly passed away. Obviously, you and I know him very well. Stuart, your sort of memories of him and what he brought to the...
Well, yeah, look, it's always difficult, isn't it? Because we, in this year of all years, have to recognise that lots of people know people or have experienced tragic loss, either through COVID or, of course, just through ordinary everyday events. But Tony was a legend, and justifiably so. He was somebody I was very proud to call a friend. He was actually one of the first people I ever met when I came into this industry 40 years ago as a young land buyer. And I think Berkeley Group had been founded in 1976, if my memory is correct, and I came into the industry around about 1979, 1980. So when I first went to see him, it was a very young industry, and it was a fairly young Tony. He was about 10 years older than me, or thereabouts, and we seemed to get on from the get-go. And he was somebody I never fell out with, and stayed in contact with, and was close to, in that sense, right up to recent days. And I was absolutely knocked over when I heard the news on that Friday. Back in June, and he will rightly be remembered as one of the true pioneers of the home building sector. And obviously sadly missed, desperately missed, I'm sure, by the Berkeley family and his own family, but by many of us as well. And may he rest in peace.
No, absolutely. So Stuart, we sit here today in the middle of another lockdown, when you would normally be sitting usually as a guest at my table at the WhatHouse Awards, together with roughly 1,700 of the great and the good of the industry.
With a glass of champagne as opposed to a cup of coffee. But
with a glass of champagne instead of coffee. We go back a long way. As you said earlier, house building, this lockdown, fortunately, has been allowed to continue. But obviously on a very serious note, is there a worry? I mean, the business seems to be progressing very well at the moment, but is there a huge economic reckoning still to come, and an inevitable impact on the industry and the delivery of much needed new homes?
Well, nobody knows, and I would be, wrong of me to pretend I had any more foresight about that than anybody else. Look, we don't know yet how long we're going to be in this pandemic. We've obviously had some big news in the last week or two around vaccines, and it's felt like a breakthrough moment to me. It feels like there is now light at the end of a tunnel, but let's be clear, it's been a pretty long tunnel, and I suspect it's got a way to run yet, just in the logistics of getting the population inoculated. But I do feel as though we are beginning to sense the end game is in sight. I think you have to, as far as housing is concerned, you always have to step back and think about this in macro terms. And the governments of the last decade or so, and this government is no exception, have developed very pro-housing policies. There clearly is a deep understanding in government of the importance of housing and the need for housing, and the need for all sorts of housing, all tenures of housing, whether it be housing, private housing for sale, or whether it be shared ownership, or whether it be social housing, or discounted market housing, or whatever it might be. And we've seen a suite of policies, over the last decade, both on the demand and on the supply side. We've seen policies on planning reform, and indeed we've got more planning reform policies in the offing now with the planning white paper that came out a few weeks ago and the other document that was published alongside it. And we've also seen a lot of policies to help demand, and in particular, of course, Help to Buy, which has been a huge success over the last 7 years and will continue for at least the next 2 years. The more recent relaxation on stamp duty, the stamp duty holiday, which is enabling a lot of people to move in the housing market, and stimulated activity since the lockdown ended. And I think we've all been very pleasantly surprised by the strength of the housing market over the last 6 months. So it's very, obviously the housing market is an integral part of the economy, and if unemployment rises or anything else of a negative nature appears, that can be detrimental to the fortunes of consumers, and that clearly has an impact on a market that is dependent on consumers. But I think the government have demonstrated time and time again their willingness to intervene and to do things to help achieve their housing objectives. And we shouldn't forget their housing objectives are to deliver 300,000 new homes a year, and we're not there yet. We've done fantastically well. It's often forgotten just how well we've done. There's been a lot of criticism of this industry over the last several years, but in that same period, we've actually grown output from about 125,000 homes a year to 240,000 homes a year, or thereabouts, and it's going to take a dent this year for sure because of the lockdown period earlier in the year. But that's a remarkable achievement in 5 or 6 years. There are very few sectors which have ever managed to deliver that sort of increase, and more is required. So I think that you have to stand back and look at the bigger picture, and obviously it's my job, our job, if you will, the HBF's job, to make sure government understands what is required, what is needed, and what levers they can pull to help us deliver the communities and deliver the homes that the country needs. People often overlook the fact that when they put in support measures that help the home builders, they're not really about helping the home builders, they're about helping the ultimate customers of the home builders. The people who benefited from Help to Buy are the 50,000 or so a year homes that get sold using Help to Buy. And of course, home builders have benefited too, because they've been able to build and sell more homes, inevitably. But actually the real benefits are the beneficiaries are the people who otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford to get on the housing market without that particular product being available. So I'm reasonably confident as we look out into the future. And frankly, this is it doesn't matter what party might be in power, because all the political parties have recognized the housing need issue. They may have different approaches to how they would go about solving it or proposing to solve it, but I think pro-housing policies will be very much here to stay.
Stuart, obviously house builders they're very well versed in dealing with traditional cycles, for want of a better word, in terms of boom, bust and the economy, but there's no playbook, is there, on dealing with a pandemic? Nobody ever had pandemic under T in their SWOT analysis, did they? But looking into your crystal ball, I suppose it's more of a sort of philosophical question, but do you see the industry pressing the reset button in terms of the homes they build, the communities they create in the wake of this? Do you see a shift, or when, and hopefully very soon, things get back to normal, will it be business as usual and we'll just be moaning about the latest planning issues, etc., or is there a fundamental shift in the way we build and how we build?
I think it's too early to tell. I think I think you can never get away from the fact that planning will always be a challenge for us as an industry. And part of the reason for that is because planning is developed centrally, planning policy is developed centrally, but has to be implemented locally. And it's an area that is very hotly debated locally, as everybody in the industry knows, when they get involved in pursuing planning applications. So that's not going to change. And I don't think whether there's a pandemic or not a pandemic, that will change. There's a lot of discussion at the moment, as you would have seen, about people potentially looking to move further out, find something perhaps with a garden, perhaps, and recognizing or believing that they're not going to have to commute in the same way in the future. I think it's too early to call that. A year or two after we're through this pandemic, and when things are relatively back to the new normal, whatever that's going to look like, we'll have a clearer picture as to whether the office life, if you will, that millions of people in London particularly obviously are used to, where most of the commuting that takes the time happens, is changed fundamentally, or whether people will drift back to that, and how that will feed its way through to what their housing needs or requirements might be. But look, house builders, we respond as individual companies, but and also collectively. We respond to our customers' wishes and demands. We are there to provide them with a product that they wish to buy, and if we don't provide them with the product that they wish to buy, they won't buy it. So if people want homes with more workspaces or homes with more amenity space, then we will seek to obviously deliver that to the best of our ability within the confines of the planning system and the other regulatory environments that we have to work in. And one should never underestimate the complexity of that treacle layer, because, you know, as any house builder will tell you, it can take an awfully long time to navigate what might appear on the surface to be relatively simple schemes.
So finally, Stuart, I think it's time we raise the mood and the spirits, because after all, this is the WhatHouse Awards, a very different WhatHouse Awards. And despite everything that has gone on this year, I mean, the nation's house builders and the suppliers have once again delivered some outstanding new homes, and we'll have the results shortly, which will showcase the amazing work that's gone on. It's a testimony, isn't it, to the resilience of this industry, and this year, which is, believe it or not, the 40th year of the awards. I think it's my 28th. Arguably, in this of all years, maybe the most important year of all in terms of the awards, applauding the best new homes in Britain and the imperative to create the best communities, housing communities, which deliver, as we've mentioned, economically, socially, environmentally. So I trust you're looking forward to hearing today the winners of the 2020 WhatHouse Awards.
Well, absolutely. Look, I think I remember the first. I'm pretty sure I was there. I wasn't on your table because I was a home builder at the time. It's always one of the great highlights of the calendar, isn't it? I mean, it's an event in the date in the diary, if you will, from very early in the year that everybody looks forward to. That Friday in November with lunch and the awards, and I sort of vaguely remember the after parties, but it's a pretty vague memory. But I think it's, you know, even more important this year, because this has been a year like no other, and hopefully a year that we'll never see the like of again. But to recognize the excellence that exists across this industry, the fantastic work that's going on day in and day out, the tremendous schemes, communities, places for people to live that are being created around the country, and to come together, albeit virtually and in a very different way than we would traditionally do, and just to sit back for an hour or two and actually just admire and recognize that tremendous achievement is arguably even more important in times like this than it is in normal times. And I have no idea who the winners are. One of the hottest kept secrets in the game, but I salute them all, and I salute everybody actually that's going to be, you know, even mentioned in dispatches today. I think if I've learned anything, you know, in the last 40 years, it is that this industry is all about its people, and the remarkable group of people they are. And we saw that, we touched on it earlier with the response to the, you know, need for help in the early days of the pandemic, whether it was for nurses and frontline staff, care home staff, or for people who were otherwise being hurt by it. And we see it day in and day out in our communities, and it very rarely gets recognized. And you know, we do a very important job. We provide people with the places where they're going to live, the communities they're going to live in. We support those communities. We produced a report earlier in the year outlining the extent of support that home builders give to communities, the doctors' surgeries that are built, the nurses' accommodation that's built, the school extensions that are built, the libraries that are built, the trees that are planted. I mean, you can go on with the list of ingredients, if you will, of the bits of the cake that we put back into the communities. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that you've been able to put this together in the way that you have, and I hope you have a very successful awards ceremony, and I look forward to hearing who all the winners are, and thank you very much indeed. Stuart, thank you very much indeed, and on a personal note, I think the house building industry is extremely lucky to have you at the helm, particularly now in the choppiest of waters. You've led the industry fantastically, and not long now, ladies and gentlemen, to the WhatHouse Awards, but in the meantime, huge virtual applause and thanks to Stuart Baisley, Executive Chairman of the HBF. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to host the 2020 WhatHouse Awards, I'm delighted to welcome Romesh Ranganathan. Welcome, Romesh.
Hello, Rupert. Thank you so much. It's so good to be able to do this.
No, very good to see you.
Absolutely buzzing to be here, so thank you.
No, excellent to see
And
you.
it's good to do it with a friend as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, us Sussex boys have got to stick together.
Absolutely, yeah,
haven't we? We've got to do
100%.
this. You've been on my show a few times before, haven't you, I think?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
No, you're great. I'm hoping you come up with sort of new questions this time. But,
No, I'll try. I'll try.
But you know, I always said I said to my agent, you know, once I've done Norton and I've shown myself to be able to be on that show, I'd love to move up to Rupert if possible. So it's great to be able to do that. So
Oh well,
thank you.
no, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm in an exalted company, so I'm absolutely delighted. But however, Romesh, we do need to start with the elephant in the room, or probably not in the room actually. 2 years ago, our WhatHouse Awards host was Jack Whitehall. Now Jack, who I know you know well, yeah, but he managed to attract to the hotel room 1,700 people.
Yeah.
Here we have
Four,
maybe.
including yourself, 5.
Yeah, 5 in total.
That is about the correct ratio of audience that I get compared to Jack Whitehall. Actually, I mean, I replaced Jack on League of Their Own. I'm now replacing him here. I'm just basically making a living off his scraps, essentially. I'm looking forward to being in Jungle Cruise too. So yeah, thanks, Jack, for the work.
Excellent. I mean, South Lodge, where we're at, is a lovely venue here in West Sussex. There have been some very rude suggestions that given lockdown restrictions, that this year we simply Googled comedians within a 10-mile radius of Horsham, and your name popped up after we realised your mum wasn't available.
Yeah, of course. There's my mum, and then obviously you could have got, if you're talking about Crawley, you could have got Chico. I don't know who else is in this area, but I'm glad that you came up. I'm glad that you looked down the thing to find me. I appreciate it.
No, and also it's fantastic to have you. And obviously it is a extraordinary year, and from a awards point of view, we would obviously have a full house in a hotel and a physical event. I mean, through COVID, everybody's world has shrunk, hasn't it? And in terms of your experiences, you've gone from obviously travel shows, The Misadventures of Romesh Ranganathan, and far-flung places, and now you're literally in your sort of converted garage in Sussex. From a professional point of view, how have these last few months been?
Well, I was on tour when the first lockdown started, and I was in the middle of like a big tour, and so in terms of live work, that completely went, and obviously. I was lucky to be able to do this show called The Ranganation, and the last series we did it in a big studio. We had like 400 or 500 people in the studio with us, and so it was a big thing. And so we really had a debate about how we should do this new series. And so we ended up. I was very lucky to be able to do it from the garage, and it worked. But it's been difficult, to be honest with you. You know, I think that. I've been lucky because I've been able to continue working, but I think comedians and performers, not just comedians, but anybody that's working in the arts that depends on live work has really struggled, and it's a tricky one. When it first started, I remember like when we went into the first lockdown in March, my agent said to me, "We've moved all your dates to September," and I thought they were being overcautious at that stage because I thought, well, it's not going to take that long, is it? And now we've had to move those again. I've got dates at the beginning of next year. They'll probably have to move again. So, it has been it's been challenging for everyone. I'm not saying it's been the most challenging for comedians. Please don't at me or anything. But yeah, I mean everyone's struggled. But I've been pretty lucky, to be honest.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I know you've got your new book out, haven't you? As Good as It Gets: Life Lessons from a Reluctant Adult. And I've actually read it. I've done my research. I've learned from Graham Norton and
Great.
Very diligent. It is a terrific read. But I did actually, if you don't mind, I just wanted to refer to something I did pick up. I think it's
something about how much I was looking forward to doing the WhatHouse Awards.
Yeah, well, not specifically. It was awards related, but yes, it's to do with. You mentioned here, and I quote: "I sometimes do corporate gigs, which are a great way to make decent money, in exchange for setting fire to your soul and presenting a few awards."
Yeah.
we've got an awful lot of awards.
Yeah, yeah. My soul is ablaze. No, it is lovely. I didn't mean this one. This one, actually, I did this because I really wanted to. I mean, normally when I do corporate gigs, it's for the money, but this one I did it because it's something I'm passionate about, you know, and I really love housing. So yeah, that's.
But actually, Roger, in all seriousness, you very generously are donating your fee for the awards to charity. I think it's called the Home Start.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Well, Home Start is a charity that helps vulnerable families in the Sussex area, and they do amazing work. But well, one of the reasons I did it is because I think one of the things I've become aware of is that charities as well as everyone else, but charities in particular are struggling because for obvious reasons. They can't operate in the same way that they were doing. They can't do fundraisers, and also people are struggling more to donate money to these charities because people have got their own things going on. So, and then on top of that, I think local charities struggle more because when people think of donating to charities, they think, you know, there's a certain set of big names that they tend to go towards. And there are other charities that are doing great work locally that don't have that kind of profile. So Home Start is one of those. So I thought it would be a good thing to partly to sort of support that charity and help families in the area, and also just generally for people to think I'm a good guy. You know, it's a combination of those things, you know.
No, excellent. I mean, and you're right about the charity, because I know as well you do a lot of work in the sort of mental health sector, and that's been, you know, in the light of COVID and the wake of COVID, that's put huge pressure on people, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's one of the things that we've become more aware of. I mean, I think the general awareness of mental health has improved over the last few years. I think people are more across it. But what lockdown has shown us is that, you know, when people have their routines taken away and have their regular contact with people taken away, it becomes, it is a strain on mental health. And so those are things that now more than ever probably we need to be supporting and helping. So it is something I do feel passionate about.
Yeah, excellent. It's going back to sort of comedy, maybe sort of to the light and the load. I mean, again, obviously huge restrictions on what you can and can't do, but from a sort of comedian's perspective, there would be so much material, wouldn't it? The government's handling of the crisis, for example, whatever one's political allegiance, and obviously, yeah. Rupert, from Hurstby Point, you would never guess my political allegiance, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the extraordinary events of the American presidential election. I mean, you must have been sort of chomping at the bit to get material out, or have you managed to through lockdown?
Well, they've tried to do gigs during lockdown. You know, there's like they've been doing Zoom gigs and stuff like that. And I've done a few Zoom gigs, but the problem is it just feels a bit weird to be just screaming into your laptop in your living room. It doesn't feel quite the same. But you're right. You know, whatever, like you said, whatever your allegiance is, there's loads of comedy to be had from the handling of this whole COVID crisis, and the American elections have been incredible, and so you do find yourself thinking of, because, you know, as a comic, you're constantly thinking of material. You know, I constantly think of bits, or even in some of the conversations I've had with you, Rupert, since I've arrived, you know, you've given me loads of material, and so you're constantly thinking about material, but. The thing is, you know, with the American election, it's possible that by the time I come to do my tour, nobody's going to want to hear about that anymore. You know, that'll be done. So yeah, it is frustrating in a way. You're always turning over stuff. So I don't know. I guess when I come back to going back on tour, I kind of cherry pick the stuff. I mean, there's no way you. To be honest with you, the Corona thing is a bit of a mixed a blessing and a curse for comedians, because on the one hand, it's something we've all been through, and as a comedian whose sort of your job is to talk about things that we've all been through or observe those kind of things, obviously we've all had that common experience. The downside of it is that every comedian is going to be talking about it. So it's that thing of going, well, I do want to talk about it, but I want to try and say something that hasn't been said, or I want to have a unique angle on it. Otherwise, there's no point. I did a Zoom gig during the first lockdown, and I was on last, and I was watching the rest of the gig, and I just had to cross out things that I was going to say about the lockdown that everybody else is saying. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, really. But I think comedians are finding it really frustrating. Well, that's why you're seeing comics do it, like live Insta things and Facebook Lives and all that, because they're actually the narcissist in all of us comedians wants to put this material out, you know, and so they're looking for ways to do that. So, but it is frustrating. I'd love to be on tour talking about the stuff that's going on. It's amazing. My first half of my tour show could be on the American election, and then the second half would be COVID. I just call it the US COVID tour, and then that's it. We're done. So yeah, it's frustrating.
I mean, and also, I mean, without going too deep, and regardless of everything that's gone on, do you see comedy almost changing, almost out the other side, and you know, the fear of giving offence seems to be taking a very polarised world? Does that? I mean, on the one hand, that maybe, you know, feeds your material, but on the other hand, does it restrict it? Do you think?
It's a really pertinent question. It's a great question, actually, Rupert.
Thank you. Graham Norton wouldn't.
He never would ask a question as insightful as that. It's incredible work. It's a weird one because there's been a lot of talk about, you know, we talk about people being cancelled for things they've said, and people retrospectively going back to stuff and getting offended. The truth is that when I've been writing this tour, obviously the tour that's on a break now, I was trying out material, and I personally think, even though I'm a mainstream comedian, I personally think the most fun to be had is at the edges of what's acceptable. You know, that's the most fertile comedy ground for me. And obviously when you do that, when you try and experiment by finding that, you'll cross the line occasionally and you'll go too far. And when I was doing this tour, I do think I probably had the most complaints about certain things I was, like in the warm-up, I had the most complaints I've ever had from people that said I was offended by this, I was offended by that. Now you could say, well, that means you're being censored, but I still carried on doing that material. You know, it's not, the mistake that people make is that they assume that if you're offended that you must be right, but you could be offended and not be right. And so it's my decision whether, if somebody says I was offended by what you said, I mean, I'll give you an example. I was doing a warm-up in London very early on when I was putting the tour together, and I was talking about the environment and how I don't really care about it as much as I should do. And I was talking about this, and this girl just stopped me, like said, can I just stop you a second? And I said, yeah. She goes, I cannot listen to you talk like this anymore. And I said, what's the problem? And she said, you're just undermining the whole environmental thing. It's absolutely disgusting you're making jokes about this. I can't listen to this anymore. And then I said to her, well, earlier on, I was joking about how I kind of hoped that somebody would kidnap one of my children. And I said, and you were here and you didn't say anything then. And I said, and now this is your line in the sand. I said, obviously I was joking then and I'm sort of joking now. So, you know, I think that if people just, and another thing, I talked about Michael Jackson in the tour. I had two people wait for me after a show to tell me that they were upset by what I'd said about Michael Jackson. I don't know if you've heard the allegations, but so that's, you know, if I then, but what the difference is they're not legally stopping me from saying that. I can say whatever I want to, and so I can either take on board what they've said and think, okay, well, I don't want to carry on down that road. I chose to carry on saying, you know, doing the bits I'm doing. So actually, yeah, I do. The truth is that people's offence does get publicised more easily because of social media, but we're not being stopped from saying what we want. If somebody tells me they're offended, not that I don't care, but if I feel like what I'm saying is from a good place and I'm fine with it, then I'll just carry on doing it. I'm not bothered if certain people find that offensive. So yeah, I'm not that worried about that. I do think though, the truth is that some comedians feel worried about saying certain things, but I think it's a matter of expectation. When people come and see me on tour, that they sort of know what they're going to get to all intents and purposes. If you go and see Frankie Boyle, for example, and you're offended, what the hell are you doing at a Frankie Boyle gig in the first place? You know, so I think it's, you know, I think that you're right in terms of there is a tendency towards people saying they're offended. But comedians aren't being stopped from saying what they want to say. So it hasn't, to be honest with you, hasn't really affected me.
No. Right, we're going to go to the first half of the WhatHouse Awards. There are a lot of them, but again, we've had a terrific number of entrants and some outstanding schemes. So Ramesh, if you could do the honours, and we'll be back to talk some more before the second half of the show.
The first category is Housing Association of the Year, sponsored by WhatHouse Digital. Silver goes to Catalyst. And gold is won by Abri. Go Abri.
Hi everyone, my name is Stuart Hensby. I'm the Associate Director of Sales and Marketing at Abri Group, formerly known as Radian and Yarlington. Absolutely delighted to receive this award on behalf of all of my colleagues at Abri Group. Absolutely a testament to the strength of our organisation. We couldn't have written the script this year. It's testament to the resilience and strength of our industry that we've battled through, and I think we're all looking forward to 2021. Thank you again, WhatHouse. Well done everyone today, and look forward to catching up with you all soon. Take care and stay safe.
The next category is Best Sustainable Development, sponsored by Q Assure Build. Silver for Woodbury Down Hackney goes to Berkeley Homes. Congrats. And gold for Fairbrook Grove, Faversham, Kent is won by Gold Property Developments. Well done, guys. Really proud of you.
I'm Bradley Gold, CEO of Gold Property Developments, and I'm delighted to accept this award on behalf of my brilliant team. This year we've had to adapt quickly to a changing environment, changes in work practices, and even changes in the way in which we communicate. Everyone at Gold Property Developments has not only embraced that change, but has done so with professionalism, energy, and good humour. Together we have managed not only to continue doing what we do so well, but we've done it better. I'm so proud of you all. Finally, I'd like to thank WhatHouse for this award and their recognition of what we have achieved. Thank you.
Moving on to Best House, also sponsored by Q Assure Build. There are 3 bronzes in this category. The first for Torner Gray in Inverness is won by 0C, part of the Places for People group. And bronze for Stoneleigh Gardens in Leighton, East London goes to Peabody. And bronze also for 55 Degrees North Edinburgh is won by Places for People. Silver for the Mulberry at Great Court Farm, Totnes, Devon goes to Baker Estates. And gold and Best House for the base at Newall, Harlow, Essex is won by Countryside Properties.
Hi, my name is Catherine Brooking and I'm Managing Director of House Building Central at Countryside. I'd like to start by thanking the WhatHouse Awards for this accolade. In the face of such a challenging year, it's fantastic to be recognised for such a prestigious award, and it's a testament to the hard work of the entire Countryside house building team in creating exceptional new homes. We have a reputation for high quality design, and this win reflects our commitment to creating places people love.
The next category is my personal favourite. It's Best Renovation, sponsored by Nolte Kitchens. Bronze for the white building at Chapelgate, Basingstoke, Hampshire goes to Barrett Developments. Silver for Cayley House, Wimbledon, London is won by West 11. And gold for Beaumont Gardens, St Albans, Hertfordshire goes to Taylor Wimpey.
Hi, I'm Nikki, Sales Director for Taylor Wimpey North Thames. We're absolutely delighted to have won an award at WhatHouse this year, especially with all the challenges that we've had to face throughout this year. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all the hard work and commitment for the staff during this year of difficulties. Thank you.
Next up, we have Best Retirement Development, sponsored by Hamro. 2 bronzes. The first for Dundee House, Midhurst, Sussex, goes to Lilyford. And bronze for Fitsford Lodge, Tavistock, Devon, is won by Churchill Retirement Living. Two silvers in this category. Firstly, for the Folds in Stockport, Cheshire, goes to Adlington. And silver for Stanbridge Earls, Romsey, Hampshire, is won by Audley. Golds could not be separated either. The first gold for Waterton Green, Walton, Yorkshire, goes to Lifestyle by NG.
Paula Broadbent, Retirement Solutions Director at NG UK and Ireland. Absolutely thrilled to win this award. It means so much. It really does mean so much. Lifestyle by NG is something that was really brought to the market to make a real difference to people's lives. We don't do enough in society to provide lifelong homes, and we're very proud to do that, and we're very excited by our customers' response to what we provide as well. So this award is just absolutely fantastic. I want to raise a glass to my team. The team have been absolutely brilliant, so this is to you. It would be just great if we could have been together to celebrate the award rather than as we are like this. This year has been challenging, very challenging, more than ever, but the team have been absolutely exceptional. You know, our customers have been cared for and supported, and we've reached out to far many people than we ever thought that we would have been able to do. So yeah, hats off, and thanks a lot, guys. And here's to hopefully a great year ahead, and let's get rid of COVID. Okay, bye.
And gold also goes to, for Coopers Hill, Englefield Green, Egham, Surrey, goes to Audley.
Hello everybody. I'm absolutely thrilled to be accepting this award on behalf of all at Audley, everybody within the organisation, plus all of our professional advisors, contractors and all. We're extraordinarily proud of what we've created, and I'm delighted to say it follows in a long line of these awards for our villages around the UK, something for which we're really proud, and delighted again to have recognition from the judges, whose time we thank, and from all of the WhatHouse team. What a shame it is we're just not all together at Grosvenor House to celebrate it. Let's hope to be back there next year. In the meantime, again, my thanks to all of our staff, all of our owners, everybody involved in the creation of such a fantastic community, and look forward to seeing you all next year.
Hello everyone, this is Mark Poulain and Sean Lane from the Rocker & Laufin Group. Rocker & Laufin have been an innovative, sustainable supplier of sanitary ware to developers for over 20 years in the UK. We've always been market leaders in design and technology, with the first wall hung pan from Laufin to beautifully designed space-giving furniture and smart shower technology with Rocker. We can cater for everything in the bathroom our developers require.
The year started out for us to be another record one. We and the industry were flying. Then the pandemic struck. The market came to an abrupt stop and we were all impacted. Luckily, the strength of the developer and house builder market reacted quickly and safely, and the recovery has been strong.
We wish all the shortlisted nominees the very best of luck. Thank you.
Good luck.
Our next category is Best Build to Rent Project, sponsored by Rocker. Silver for Black Horse Mills, Walthamstow, goes to Legal and General Investment Management, Real Assets. And gold for 10 George Street, Canary Wharf, London, is won by Virtus, part of the Canary Wharf Group.
Thank you very much, WhatHouse, for this award. It's a great positive for us in what's been a very tough year for everybody, and it's really testament to the hard work of the Virtus team in looking after what is a wonderful building that's been delivered by Canary Wharf Group for the build-to-rent market. We really look forward to welcoming many more residents for the rest of the year and through 2021 into this award-winning building. Thank you again.
We turn now to Best Apartment, also sponsored by Rocker. Bronze for 250 City Road, Islington, London, is won by Berkeley Homes. Silver for the Dumont Albert Embankment, London, goes to St James. And gold for 10 Park Drive, Canary Wharf, is won by Canary Wharf Group.
On behalf of the Canary Wharf Group, I'm absolutely delighted to accept this award. It really is testament to the work and effort of our teams this year in this most unbelievable of times. So thank you very much, and congratulations. I hope the rest of the award ceremony goes well. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Sharon. Hi, I'm Sam. We're really excited that Moneypenny is sponsoring this year's WhatHouse Awards.
It's a shame that we're not there to celebrate with you guys in person.
However, we wish everyone the best of luck and we look forward to watching the awards together.
The next category is Best Luxury House, sponsored by Moneypenny. Bronze for Devonshire House, Manor Gardens, Clent, Worcestershire, goes to Horgan Homes. Silver for Seascape, Littleton, Kent, is won by Sunningdale House Developments. And gold for Hampton Place, Wentworth, Surrey, is won by Octagon Developments.
Hello, I'm Tim Banks, CEO of Octagon, and I'm thrilled to accept this award on behalf of the company. I'd like to thank the entire Octagon team for their unrelenting work and commitment to the company this year. Not only have we managed to keep progress at an impressive rate across all our live sites, but also launched something we've been working hard on behind the scenes. Please take a look at the latest issue of Show House magazine to read our exciting company news. Thank you to the judges for this WhatHouse award, and we hope to celebrate with you all very soon. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Harrison from Tidywork Studio. It brings me great pleasure to be sponsoring the Best Exterior Design for the virtual WhatHouse Awards 2020. Being predominantly a CGI studio, we see hundreds of exterior designs come through our doors every single year, and it's great to see such a quality of excellence in the shortlist today. So good luck to everybody involved, and let's find out who's won what.
Moving to Best Exterior Design, sponsored by Tidywork Studio. Bronze for Lambton Park, Chesterley Street, County Durham, goes to Miller Homes. Silver for Torner Grain Inverness is won by Zero C, part of Places for People. And gold for Lions Place, St John's Wood, London, is won by Alma Cantar.
Hi, Chris Ruffle and Brooke Collins here from Alma Cantar.
On behalf of the entire Lions Place team, we'd like to say a massive thank you to everybody involved and for the award this evening. And a special thanks to Sir Terry Fowle, as this was his last residential scheme in London. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next category is Best Small House Builder, sponsored by Nichols & Clark. 2 bronzes here. The first goes to Quinn Homes. And bronze is also won by Galleon. There are 2 silvers. The first is won by Rose. And silver also goes to Horgan Homes. And gold and best small house builder is won by Esquire Developments. Congratulations.
Hi guys, Paul Henry here, Managing Director of Esquire Developments, and we are really pleased to be winning the WhatHouse Award this year. It really goes some lengths to recognise the commitment and hard work of all of our team, suppliers and contractors in what has been an incredibly difficult year. For us, winning the award recognises our quality, puts us right up there with some of the best in the industry, and is a fantastic achievement for everyone involved at Esquire. So thank you all, wish you all well, take care.
Thank you, Ramesh. Now, before we move actually to the second half of the awards, I told you there are a lot of them.
There's a 60, right?
Yes.
60 in total,
yes,
yeah, great news.
It's great.
Yeah, but I was worried that there was only going to be a few and this would be done quickly, but this is much better. This is great,
fine.
yeah.
We're actually going to go to a short break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Right, welcome back. Now, Ramesh, I'm conscious we've talked comedy, we've talked a lot, but we haven't really talked property and house building, which is obviously what this is all about.
Sure.
And I know your first book, I'm plugging all your books.
Thank you.
Your first
Brilliant,
book
it's great.
was, I mean, straight out of Crawley,
Yeah.
it was called, wasn't it? And again, I know this is a bit sort of insular, talking Sussex, but and I appreciate that the Hollywood Bowl and the football stadium at Crawley, I think it's called People's Pension Stadium now.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think they're iconic venues, obviously. But
Yes,
I mean,
they are, absolutely.
do you have any plans to sort of get out of Crawley, maybe into a brand new home built by a WhatHouse award-winning house builder, maybe?
Well, listen, if somebody out there is willing to do me a deal, then yes, I've always got an eye on the market. I can't imagine. The truth is I don't know if I'm ever going to move out of Crawley. I went to LA for 6 months to do a TV show out there, and I took my family out there, and it just wasn't as good as Crawley. So we came back. You know, what can I tell you? You know, it's you know, they've got the Hollywood Bowl there, they've got Disneyland there, they've got Universal Studios, but that cannot compete with the leisure park in Crawley. You know, what can I say? So yeah, I don't know. I get a bit nervous around builders, to be honest with you. I have this thing where I start trying to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. You know, that kind of, I try and say, yeah, no, obviously with this it's a slightly trickier job or whatever. And also the other problem I have, which is great news for anybody doing building work, is there is no level of work low enough for me to have the guts to complain about. So I just don't have the courage to do that. My wife, it's a constant source of rage for my wife that that it doesn't matter what they do. I'm too nervous to complain about it. That, you know, they could put the toilet in backwards or whatever, and the wall be incomplete, and I just go, that looks great. I think it's different. I can see myself getting used to this. It's amazing, you know. But look, if there's anyone out there who's willing to cut me a deal, I'm in.
Well, I was going to say now is your chance, because you've got not only great builders watching, but you've got the whole supply chain: kitchens, bathrooms, appliances.
Perfect.
It's everything. So this is.
And I would love a better deal than Whitehall got, if possible.
Yes, that's a given.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need a deal anyway. Come on, guys. The guy's from money. He swims in money. He doesn't need a deal. I do. All right. I'm from Crawley.
And of course, Jack at the awards attracted a paying audience into the room as well. So that, you know, that helped obviously.
Yeah, you keep making these digs, Rupert. You know, I don't have to be here, mate.
Well, actually, again, going back to your book, there is actually a chapter on builders, isn't it? And I think you open it by saying, "My name is Ramesh Ranganathan, and builders terrify me."
Yeah, they do. They really do. They really do. I don't know what it is. I just find them. It's that thing that they've just got this air of expertise that, you know, in an area, and the technical knowledge that they've got, I just find it hugely intimidating, because I'm kind of rubbish at everything. And so as soon as I'm in the company of a builder, I just sort of turn into a bit of I become like a teenage girl around One Direction. I just can't process the interaction. It's really bad.
Excellent. Well, finally, Ramesh, before we ask you to announce the remaining categories of the awards, which include the industry's biggest prize, which is the WhatHouse House Builder of the Year, what plans are for you in the future? I mean, obviously, pandemic permitting, but in 2021, have you got much lined up?
Yeah, well, we're basically currently talking about doing more Misadventures, the travel show. So I'm hoping to do that early next year, and then I'm going to go back on tour. And then after that, I've got a few little scripted bits and pieces that I've kind of got in development. During lockdown, I sort of spent a lot of time writing scripts and stuff. So hopefully all of that will come. I mean, the problem with scripted stuff is a lot of it just disappears. But what we've got definitely is I'm going to be doing more travel shows, hopefully get back on the road and do a tour, and then I guess come back for this next year. It is a double. I mean, he had Jack 2 years in a row, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if I'm not here next year, I would consider. I'm just letting you. I just want to be crystal clear about this. I would consider that a professional and personal insult.
No, I think actually it might even be a 3-year contract.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
So
great. Until my building project's finished, that'd be ideal.
That could take a lot longer, you know. But, so right, Ramesh, if you could announce more of our winners, that would be fantastic.
The next category is Best Interior Design, sponsored by Green Lighting. Bronze for Radstone Gate, Stelling Minnis, Kent, goes to Pentland Homes. Silver for Holford House, Roehampton, London, is won by Richstone Properties. And gold for Skeel Library, Hampstead Manor, London, is won by Mount Anvil.
Hello everyone, my name is John Hall. I'm the Group Sales Director at Mount Anvil. We are delighted to have won this award. It means a huge amount to the teams involved, who have worked tirelessly on the development to create an outstanding legacy for the future. This year has seen huge challenges thrown down by the pandemic, and we're immensely proud of how the teams have adapted and pivoted to new ways of working in challenging and ever-changing environments. Overall, a really tough year, but in actual fact, a record year for Mount Anvil in terms of sales. Proud that we've achieved these levels in the face of COVID diversity, testament to our teams, our partners, and the approach that we've taken. This award really is the cherry on top of what's been a rollercoaster ride. We wish all at WhatHouse a safe end of 2020 and look forward to new challenging times next year, which include for us many exciting new projects which are in the pipeline, and look forward to building on this year's success.
Hello, my name is Mark Armstrong. I am Channel Director with Hoover Candy Appliances UK. I hope you're all keeping safe and well during these challenging times we are all facing. Hoover Candy are delighted to be sponsoring the WhatHouse Awards this year, and we sincerely hope that we can look forward to meeting up with you next year and explore ways of working together. So from us all at Hoover Candy, please stay safe, keep building, and more importantly, keep smiling. Thank you.
The next category is Best Development, sponsored by Hire. 2 bronzes here. The first for Taplow Riverside, Berkshire, goes to Berkeley Homes. And bronze for 59 Lansdowne, Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, goes to Carla. Silver for Lambton Park, Chesterley Street, County Durham, goes to Miller Homes. And gold for Mosaics Oxford is won by Hill.
Wow, thanks everyone at WhatHouse. That's an amazing achievement, and thanks to everybody at Team Hill. We're really pleased to win this award.
On behalf of Robinson Manufacturing, suppliers of timber engineered trusses, joists and timber frames to house builders large and small all over the UK, we'd like to congratulate everyone who has entered this award for the UK's best medium house builder. It's been a tough year for everyone, and we're really proud to have been able to provide supply chain continuity to our customers throughout lockdowns 1 and 2. Our teams and yours have adapted brilliantly to circumstances none of us could have never imagined this time last year. So this year we are celebrating the success and innovation that continues to motivate the sector and all involved with it, including us, to take pride in working to the highest possible standards, no matter what the circumstances. So finally, I'd like to pass on special congratulations to the winner of Britain's Best Medium House Builder 2020 from everybody here at Robinson.
Moving on to Best Medium House Builder, sponsored by Robinson Manufacturing Limited. 2 bronzes. The first goes to Hayfield. And bronze is also won by Churchill Retirement Living. There are 2 silvers. The first goes to William Davis Homes. And silver is also won by Bewley Homes. And gold goes to Hill.
An absolute brilliant achievement winning this award. Absolutely blown away by our performance. Thank you to all the staff, their efforts, their tireless energy, and a great achievement for all at Team Hill. And thank you to WhatHouse and all their judges. Thank you very much.
The next category is Best Luxury Development, sponsored by Lowther. Now this is my kind of level of property. 2 silvers, the first for Pavilion Edinburgh, goes to AMA Homes. And silver for Forbury Blackheath, Kent, is won by Berkeley Homes. And gold for Sandgate Pavilion, Sandgate, Kent, is won by Sunningdale House Developments.
Hi, David Pounceby, Chief Executive Officer of the Sunningdale House Group. To receive a nomination for a WhatHouse Award is such a competitive category is an honour, but to win it is something pretty special, especially for a young company such as we are. The challenges we have faced in this industry this year have been unprecedented, but like many other businesses, we've soldiered on, we've pushed through, and we've produced a development that we're especially proud of. This award is on behalf of everyone at Sunningdale House. It demonstrates our vision, our technical and our delivery capability, and especially our customer focus. The award lets us finish 2020 on a real high, and we thank you all for that. Take care, keep safe, look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Hello everyone, I'm Roger Barrett, Managing Director of the Connells Group Land and New Homes business, which operates across 600 estate agency branches throughout the UK. I'm absolutely delighted to join with you today at what I'm sure will be a pretty unique WhatHouse Awards 2020 event. I must say I would much rather be sitting down with a nice glass of champagne in the Grosvenor House than doing this particular recording. We do, however, want to continue to provide our support in partnership with WhatHouse and Show House magazine to the house building sector, and that support is also welcomed from the Connells Group. In closing, I would like to wish all the finalists every success and good luck with your submissions, and hope that you pick up a few plaques to add to your existing collection at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Moving on to Best Starter Home Scheme, sponsored by Connells Group. Bronze for Lavender Walk, Carshalton, Surrey, goes to Clarion Housing. Silver for Daedalus Village, Leon Solent, Hampshire, is won by Abbury and Waits Residential. And gold for Parklands Barking Riverside is won by L&Q.
Hello, I'm Vicky Savage, London MD at L&Q. We are thrilled to have won at the WhatHouse Awards this year. L&Q's vision is that everyone should have a home they can afford. We don't just want to build homes, we want to create long-lasting communities that our residents can be proud of. As one of the UK's leading housing associations and developers, social purpose is at the heart of everything we do. This year, more than ever, winning an award like this is a testament to the continued hard work of the entire L&Q team. A big thank you from L&Q to WhatHouse and the judging panel for this amazing award.
Halo are delighted to be back sponsoring the WhatHouse Awards this year. For us, these awards provide the perfect platform to celebrate our partners' success and hard work, which is especially important this year. So from everyone at Halo, we wish all the nominees the best of luck.
The next category is Best Large House Builder, sponsored by Halo. Bronze goes to Redrow. 2 silvers. The first one is won by Places for People. And also silver for Miller Homes. And the gold is won by Barclay Group.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Valloni and I'm the director of the Barclay Group. On behalf of Barclay, I'd like to thank all at WhatHouse and the judges for this award. I'd also like to thank our whole team at Barclay, who have worked so hard over the past year, which, as we all know, has been somewhat challenging. Moments of celebration have been few and far between in the recent past, which makes receiving this award from WhatHouse even more special. Thank you very much, WhatHouse.
We move on to Best Partnership Scheme, also sponsored by Halo. Bronze for Rochester Riverside, Rochester, Kent, is won by Countryside Properties and Hyde. Silver for Motion, Waltham Forest, East London, goes to Hill and Peabody. And gold for Lime Quarter, Bromley by Bow, East London, is won by Vistry Partnerships and Newland Housing Trust.
Hello, my name's Matthew Taylor. I'm the Managing Director of Vistry Partnerships London Developments. As we know, the last 9 months have been extremely challenging for the industry as a whole, all of our staff and our purchasers. And so I'm delighted to be able to accept this WhatHouse Award on behalf of Vistry Partnerships. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mark Alera, CEO of BT Consumer, and I want to say a big congratulations to all of the nominations for these really prestigious WhatHouse Awards. BT's partnership with the house building industry is a really important role in our strategy, which is to roll out full fibre, the latest network technology, to over 20 million homes by 2025. And we've all seen in the last few months the importance of connectivity and the growing needs that customers have, whether they're working from home or using more and more entertainment services like gaming and television subscriptions that are all provided over the internet. And what's really important for customers now, we know, is brilliant connectivity. And full fibre is the latest technology, the latest network that gives customers the speed they need and the reliability they need. And when we think about the outstanding quality houses that you're building, it's going to be essential for us that we partner together to ensure that those customers are getting the fastest, best network technology that's possible, and that's full fibre from BT.
We now come to Best Mixed-Use Development, sponsored by BT. Bronze for London Dock Wapping goes to St George. Silver for the old fire station York is won by London Ebor Developments and the Helmsley Group. And gold for Lime Quarter, Bromley by Bow, East London, is won by Vistry Partnerships. The next category is Best Regeneration Scheme, also sponsored by BT. Bronze for Burstone Gardens, Merstham, Surrey, goes to Raven Homes. Two silvers, the first for Fish Island Village, Hackney Wick, goes to Hill and Peabody. And silver for Port Luke, Birmingham, goes to Urban Splash and Places for People. And gold for Chapel Riverside, Southampton is won by Inland Homes.
Hello, I'm Gary Skinner, Group Managing Director of Inland Homes. I'm delighted to accept this award today on behalf of Inland. It's been a challenging year for the industry this year, but we've risen to that challenge. For us at Inland, we've continued to deliver high quality, affordable priced homes, and most importantly, we've done it while keeping our sites COVID secure and our people safe. It's fantastic to receive this award today in recognition for what we have achieved. Thank you very much.
The penultimate category is Best Public Realm, sponsored by Show House magazine. Bronze for Brooklyn Square, Milton Keynes, goes to Places for People. Silver for Wembley Park, Wembley, goes to Quintain. And gold for Hayfield, Southmore, Oxfordshire, is won by Hayfield.
Hi, my name's Mark Booth, and I'm the founder of Hayfield. We're absolutely ecstatic to have won another WhatHouse award this year. I have an amazingly passionate and committed team of people who worked so hard in 2020 in the most challenging of circumstances. I'd like to thank them all and dedicate the award to that amazing group of people. Thanks very much.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the most prestigious prize in British house building, the 2020 WhatHouse House Builder of the Year is... Hill! Come on! Congratulations! You did it, Hill! You didn't think you would, but you did it! You smashed it! Come on! People doubted you, but you stuffed it back in their faces. You nailed it, Hill! I love you! Come on! Ha! Can you feel it, Hill? Can you feel it? Woo! I'm out.
Ramesh, we love you. Thank you so much. I just can't believe it. House Builder of the Year for the second time in our 21-year history. What a fantastic result. Absolutely unbelievable. Ramesh, thank you, thank you. And to all at WhatHouse. Tom.
Thank you, Rupert and WhatHouse. Fantastic award, and I think we definitely wouldn't have achieved this without the commitment from all of our employees. Special thanks to our clients, our supply chain, who are all part of achieving this fantastic award, so thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that because I think this gives hope to everyone, to all type of small and medium house builders, that you can all grow and you can all mix it with the big boys. You know, what it's actually telling us is that we're one of the best. You know, we're the best this year. You know, we are the WhatHouse House Builder of the Year, the Supremo Award. We've absolutely nailed it, and others can do it too. So, but hey ho, we're not going to give this one up easily. I want 3 of these now. You know, we've had 2 in 21 years, and to get that third one would be absolutely immense. So that's what we'd be going for.
Many congratulations, Hill, and great to hear from Andy and Greg Hill from Hill on site. Many congratulations to all our winners and to all our entrants who've taken part in certainly the most extraordinary of years. I'd certainly like to thank South Lodge for hosting us here in a fabulous venue. A big thank you to Chandler's BMW for the transport, the Crabtree for the sandwiches, and of course a massive thank you to all our sponsors and judges. Their support has been truly fantastic in this of all years. We may not physically have been standing shoulder to shoulder, but the industry has certainly metaphorically stood side by side in this most extraordinary of years. A big thank you to Stuart Baisley, who we heard from earlier. Industry is very lucky to have him at the helm. And finally, of course, a huge thanks to Ramesh Ranganathan. They are clapping, Ramesh, I promise you. You can.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just wondering, I'll be honest, I'm just wondering where these sandwiches are. I haven't seen any.
You haven't seen any sandwiches?
But it's been my, listen, it's been my honour, guys. Honestly, it's been a highlight, a career highlight for me. Thank you.
That's brilliant. And now, Ramesh, what would now happen back in the old days is several hundred people would be rushing to the bar to continue the celebrations. And don't worry, there are no builders here to terrorise you, so that's probably okay. So thank you to everyone out there for attending and listening to the WhatHouse Awards. We've missed you, but we very much look forward to seeing you in the flesh next year. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
Happy so far?
Yeah, great.
All good?
It might be my agent, actually. Sort of asked for an exit strategy. And gold and best house for the base at Newell Harlow. Ooh. Oh man, this is a long old scroll, isn't it? Doesn't matter, it's all good. Can I just say, I thought you did that so well.
Oh, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for making my job easier. Really, really good. You should be proud of yourself.
I can go home and have a good weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Well done. No, you deserve it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Right,
okay.
Break and award 11.
Yeah, don't cock this bit up though, will you? Okay. And gold for Sandgate Pavilion, Sandgate, Kent, is won by Sunningdale House Developments. I'll do that again. And gold for Sandgate Pavilion, Sandgate Cut. I'll do that again. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the most prestigious prize in British house building, the 2020 WhatHouse House Builder of the Year is... Dramatic pause. And it just says that. I shouldn't have said that out loud.